So I'm Dorene Quinn. I am a three-dimensional artist. I work with a lot of different kinds of natural surfaces. I'm very interested in the collecting of things that are in my environment every day. So the two pieces that I am showing are examples of a natural environment where I gathered the tree material, and that was in the southwest desert in California, Mojave Desert. And then the other project, which is made from fragments of asphalt, were gathered from my trips back and forth to my studio in urban Syracuse. So I tend to notice whatever is around me, and that becomes my material. As a child, I did a lot of outdoor play. I spent many hours just on my own, creating little installations in nature. For instance, along riverbeds. I grew up in Oregon, and there's a lot of course, a lot of nature surrounding the urban areas in Oregon. There's also the Pacific Coast. So whenever my family traveled on vacation or even just outside in my yard, I would be experimenting with bugs, and I would be building things out of mud. And then I went to art school years later and thought that art, when I first arrived, was something that you did on canvas, and it took me a few more years to realize that what I was doing outside as a child was really making art, and that then became my focus. So I'm really playing, although it sometimes feels like a lot of hard work. Okay, this is in process. This is one element for the outdoor piece, which I think of as a mosaic. And obviously it's made with the found pieces of asphalt, and I've actually added a little paint. So I'm cheating a little bit because I like the idea of the striping that you would find on pavement as part of the color or the contrast on the surface. And I had all this problem solving to do in order to make something in my studio that I could transport, that would hold the pieces until I could install them at the museum and create the dirt surface for them. This was one piece that I decided to recreate in my studio. I went out and on my hikes around the desert, I found a dead Joshua tree that was still standing, and I decided to strip the bark piece by piece, label it, and ship it back to Syracuse. So once I got it back to Syracuse, I started to create a template or a surface that I could use to put the pieces back together permanently. And so you can see there's a number, a letter and a number here. It's like a giant jigsaw puzzle. And the reason that really the thought behind the project was the Joshua tree is an endangered species. It lives in only a very tiny geographical area, and it's believed that with climate change it will probably die out. So in the process of stripping the bark, naturally some of it was already deteriorated. So you'll notice there are big holes where we only have mesh showing. And at first I was wondering if maybe I should patch those, like get another piece of bark and patch them up. And then I started to realize that the kind of the translucent fabric reminded me a little of gauze bandages, and there's this sense of a ghost-like presence. So it actually helped to reinforce that idea of repairing or restoring. And so I decided to really go with the open spaces and allow light to leak from those, and really make it part of the emphasis of the